Excellent. And thank you for that little bit. And we're at the top of the hour now, and we're starting our first session of High Vibe Channeling this lovely Thursday on the 6th of November. And today we have our special guest making his debut, who is a very experienced healer and channeler and energy mover focused on love and improving the experiences of all humans on the planet who ever come into contact with him. And I'm sure he will resonate with all of us. And it is Dante Sunshine. Shantae is one of the things that he goes by on Facebook anyway.
Call me Dante.
Dante, there we go. And we can go into more of his bio. He does have several books. You can find them on his website, and we will post that information on the YouTube description. So please look for that. The guidebook to living love on Earth. And there's also, what that one has his information on galactic history and mystic wisdom. And then he has a Heart First, which is his latest creation. He's working on other ones as well. And we welcome Dante to High Vibe Channeling, and we'll leave the rest up to him.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here. How long has the group been going for?
What was that?
Thanks so much for having me here. Yeah. Um, how long has this group been going for? I was just curious.
Well, actually, a little bit over a year.
Okay. Oh,
September 17th, we started, and now we have 20 channelers or so in our group. We've had more who have shown up who are not in our group per se.
yeah.
Speaking of channelers who are in our group, here's Wendy and Dave. But it's just a very high vibrational group. And
Nice.
the entities love it because they can say things like counterpart selves and simultaneous time, and they don't have to explain anything
Yeah.
because we all understand all of that. So
Great.
it's very comfortable. We are a high vibe channeling is a platform for the safe exploration and sharing of personal gifts. And we really appreciate you coming and sharing yours with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, do you want me to just dive into connect?
Whatever you're comfortable with. It's your show from here on out, and we're all going to mute. And if we have questions, we will just, everybody knows, they're just going to hit us up in the chat.
Yeah.
And then, we take them on a first come, first serve basis, and we'll wait for your cue on that.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I work a lot with questions and answers in the channeling sessions I do. I do a live stream on my channel, Dante Starshine, and that's the same website, Dante Starshine. And it's sometimes weekly, but sometimes monthly. It kind of alternate, but it's always consistently there. And sometimes they have an intro message. I think they will probably go deeper into that today because they're probably just getting to, you're probably just getting to meet them rather, and them to you. At least these specific guides. I'm sure most of you have encountered Pleiadians before. So anyway, I'll turn it over to them and see you on the other side. Well, hello, and we say a fantastic day to all of you. We are very grateful to be able to connect with you in this way. We thank you for allowing the connection to take place, first of all, as it allows for a bridge to open between our realities that allows both you and ourselves to deepen in the connection with the source. And for that, we are deeply appreciative. So, we know many of you are already well on your own path of connecting with your own guides and allowing for your soul's wisdom to speak to you and reverberate through you in that presence every day. So we will simply share our take on it and our take on your evolving world, and then see how we would like to further explore our connection today with your questions, comments, or anything you might wish to share. We share with your world that your heart has the key within it. And all you have to do is learn to listen to its wisdom and act upon it and have no attachment to the illusion, to let go of your insistence on expectations and open to the cosmic wonder of the source in each moment, knowing that you have the power to turn every experience into something beneficial, transformative, and allow that which allows you to connect deeper to the source and to love within your essence. So many of you know this well, as we are not the only galactic beings to impart this wisdom to you, as we know it is a crucial part in your planet's ascension. And why it is crucial is because it awakens the spark of both authenticity, intuition, and wisdom within you. This is the wisdom of your own body and soul, and you awaken them together through the realization that they are one. And as you allow this greater capacity of your soul to emerge through expansive flow states like channeling, like experiences of hypnosis, meditation, shamanic states, like that exhilaration that comes spontaneously at moments, beholding nature, beholding great creativity, beholding the great power of your body and your connection to loved ones. You know these peak states, these states where source reverberates through you. And as you honor that magnetic force within you that expresses through your heart, these states become the norm each and every day. And as that becomes normal for you, some of you also find that across the veils, you always feel a sense of connection to the subtle energies of a space and to the beings that wish to support you and others on your journey. And this is very important for your planet to come into balance and harmony at this time. When you act upon your highest excitement to the best of your ability without having insistence on any particular expectation, you can entrain to that flow state and you can allow for the source to move and operate through you. It's something that takes place both and most importantly in the moment, though also it holds the scope of the larger framework of your life, having a vision that aligns with your soul's greatest dreams, to have that vision clear, yet constantly evolving with eager anticipation, yet embody that in the moment and align your heart with what is most important to your soul in everything that you do. This is to overcome a world of distractions where constantly other types of energy attempt to bring you into more mundane, dulling, numbing frequencies that dim your own connection to the source. So it takes a great courage to really be able to act upon your heart's wisdom to the best of your ability, though it is certainly possible. And this wisdom is complete when you let go of your insistence on particular outcomes, when you stop judging what is, and you open to the heart of gratitude for everything that is, knowing that even when you don't fulfill your own expectations, there's lessons in everything that you experience that can help you find your own highest timeline. And when you know how to spot those lessons and integrate them with ease and be grateful no matter what happens, the flow state becomes seamless and all of life becomes that sort of act of channeling. And this is the essence of what we share, though we speak about many other ways that this connects to all aspects of your life. Now is an exciting time on your planet as you come closer and closer to the potential of open contact. As you know, the timelines are never directly set in stone. They are constantly evolving in each and every moment. And the frequency of each being in the planet as a collective determines the probability. And it is up to your determined effort to bridge to the other side, to allow for that potential open contact to manifest in these times to come. And thus, it is ever and always important to allow yourself to be guided in this way, to develop that inner knowing within yourself and learn to radically be yourself. To be the unique being that you are is your purpose. It is the way that Source gets to know itself. And so allow yourself to channel the energy of your heart into all sorts of acts of care, of creativity, of compassion, and connection to that higher power in your day-to-day journey. Now, you may be experiencing many evolving, rapidly changing ways in your planet. As time moves forward, the frequency acceleration expands. There is now more newness than ever before. You can think of it in terms of novelty, of new types of ideas, of energies that are diverging from what you previously thought were possible. Each and every year, the degree of new possibilities increases. And this has been progressively taking place since your year of 2012. And now this window in your mid-2020s, which you're directly in the middle of in a way, is a time where you are crossing the gap, you could say, into a higher threshold that will dominate through the 2030s. You've had to move through many sort of turbulent frequencies and vacillations between polarized energies. And this process will continue for a number of years, the oscillation, you could say, until that stability arises. And it's up to you whether you reach that plateau with the idea of open contact fully manifest, or in a way partially slipping through in a way that it is now. Ideally, yes, in a greater degree. But of course, the timelines are not set in stone. And nonetheless, the potential is there. And the work that you do in this way with channeling serves that purpose and also grounds you in the wisdom of your own heart. So we thank you for allowing us to share this opening message and introduction, you could say. And we would ask if you have any questions or things you would like to share with us at this time.
Thank you so much for coming this evening and sharing your wisdom with us.
Oh, yes.
Do you have a specific connection that helps you to help humanity?
Well, we are evolving in service to others, in connection to the source. We have moved through the dimensional threshold that Earth is moving through, you could say, where you are evolving from a fourth dimensional consciousness, living through the idea of time, to a fifth dimensional consciousness that is able to connect to timelessness, to a higher frequency and unconditional love. And crossing this threshold is not an easy task, and it is often done in support. Some of the initial physicalized beings who did this were guided mostly by spirit guides, or what you consider angels, to make it over physically into that higher dimensional threshold. Thus, there are other sorts of extraterrestrial guides helping beings across this and other galaxies to cross the threshold, you could say.
Thank you so much for that answer.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to our group.
Oh, yes, we are very happy to be here.
So, are you physical?
Yes, a version of us is, at least.
Okay. So, say I'm moving a bit forward to the point where contact has already happened and we're having a party, right? So, say you're coming to a party, what could we offer you to like eat or drink? Because that's what we do here.
We could drink water, but we don't necessarily need it. The only gift that we want is your presence.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess my turn. I'm very interested in the role of memory in anchoring our identity and being sort of a hindrance to our ability to do these things that we are calling nowadays, reality, transurfing, quantum jumping, elevating ourselves into a higher version of ourselves. I observe that the memories of whatever we have going on in our life, through, of course, our interaction typically with loved ones and friends and so forth, keep ourselves somewhat grounded to these things that we're trying to maybe jump from. So maybe you can give us some guidance as to some ways in which we can deal with these sort of things. Thank you.
So you're asking how to quantum jump to a reality that's different than what others expect it is?
So if you try to go to a better version of yourself, and we're going to call it a future self,
Yes.
in doing so, you have to dissolve some elements of your identity to be able to adopt this new future self, some elements. And therefore, what is an impediment typically is those memories that are in one that are holding you to the current identity. That's what I'm trying to address.
Do you recognize that you're never the same person that you were before?
From second to second, I do, yeah. But
the only person that really exists as you is the person you are now, because now is all there is. So any past version of you is a story that you actually construct in the now. And you do this with people all the time when you assume they are the same as they were in the past. And in general, people keep the qualities that serve them well, and they shed qualities that don't serve them well. So you can at least assume that somebody is a certain way or has a certain aspect of their personality. But of course, it's important to recognize every being is this way, constantly becoming a new version of themselves. Just as much different emotions and behaviors and things that you do actually activate different parts of your brain. And if the initial question was about memory, well, your ability to remember something depends on your particular state of consciousness at the time and the space that you are in. And also just as much when you access something that is familiar to you, your memory opens up to a new hallway within its depths. So memory is very subtle and shifting and changing as well. In this way, we would say it's better to go beyond identity than constantly construct new ones and simply recognize you are as you are right now. Don't come up with stories about who you are based on what happened some of the time. Honor more of what is present and alive within you in the moment, and you will become more fluid and capable.
thank you. So less story. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
And thank you so much for bringing your energy and your wisdom and your open-hearted love and affection to our group. It is wonderful to experience. Are you on a particular timeline which will be participating physically in open contact and coming to live on Earth?
Not the being that is directly connected with the channel, no.
Okay. Would you say that you are, or what density do you think that we would understand that you are originating from? All densities?
From fifth density onward, we could say.
Excellent. Thank you. Um, if do you have a favorite Earth animal other than humans?
We don't necessarily have favorites. We enjoy all of them and the whole that they are made of.
Excellent. I guess that applies to all other beings and races as well. It is just a advanced form of acceptance and allowance as humans understand it.
Well, yes, the Galactic Alliance has a wide range of species across many different planets that are connected and are supporting many other species and evolving and also observing others. There are, of course, extraterrestrial consciousnesses that are not necessarily benevolent, though we have mostly protected ourselves from them and serve to maintain a peaceful alliance that protects our worlds among the Galactic Alliance.
Does that protection operate more in line with frequency and vibration like it does on our planet?
Mostly, yes. Because once the energy is protected, there is not a need for physical protections.
Ah, because
Though,
I
of course, most places have a backup system in case there were to be an emergency or a breach of some sort.
Excellent. I appreciate that. And it's my understanding that the Sasani are the chief orchestrators, are supervisors of open contact, and all of the human interactions with ETs have to be cleared or go through them in some ways. And I know it just flows naturally, but can you elaborate on that?
Well, they are one of the pioneers and the most important beings supporting this process, though they are not the only ones that are allowed to have communication. They are not even necessarily the first who will likely have contact.
Yes. And that is going to be the Yael and physicalized Pleiadians from our understanding, and then later on the hybrid children get to come in.
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on the hybrid children, which is a fascinating aspect of this? And then since I channel them and I'm creating a book per their instructions and other extraterrestrials, any information that you could, or perspectives that you can provide would be most helpful.
Yes, they are beings which are to come to your world to support the evolution of the Earth and allow Earth to be a space that integrates other beings from other worlds as well. They are presently being taken care of by the Yael, and they have evolved through these processes of hybridization, of splicing human DNA with that of initially the great beings, and then from there on, the consecutive hybrid races that were created as part of this program. The hybrid children represent the culmination, the final degree of hybridization. And in a way, the creation of a complete set of relatives that can go on to be a part of a larger galactic framework and ultimately evolve together into another sort of hybrid race that fuses the DNA of all of the hybrid races. But that is thousands of years in the making, of course.
Excellent. And that would be the Anonica in our terms?
That's one way of putting it.
Excellent. And thank you so much for that. Christina?
Thank you. Hello again.
Hello, yes.
And on a more personal note, I was told that I have a parallel life as a cat type being somewhere in the Pleiades. I forgot the planet. But would you like to share any information on that or on the cat being? Would you like to describe that for us?
Yes. This is actually a lion-esque cat. What is in the family of different lion extraterrestrials within the galaxy. They are friendly and benevolent beings. This one is an ancient soul originating from Lyra that comes to support you in stepping more into your courageousness as well as your playfulness, to find some of that feline spirit that is independent yet very connected and social and capable.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I had once heard of a story relating to the Orion Wars, how souls incarnated on Earth to help balance the energies of, the negative reptilians and felines. And I
Yeah.
resonated with that. Is there anything you could add to that idea?
Well, yes, we will say that this traces back much further than Orion as well. Initially, souls incarnated into the systems of Lyra and Vega, and that was where the initial cosmic battle began. It continued in Sirius and in Orion, and eventually Sirius, the Pleiades, and other groups together healed their part of the karma, while some parts of the galaxy are still a playing field for many of those initial wounds and their echoes to find resolution. Earth is one of those places where there is still karmic ties to these energies. And just again, because some of these beings were reptilian or feline or whatever they might have been, it's important to recognize that not all beings of any one species are negatively oriented. There's even humanoid negatively oriented beings out there just as much as there are positively oriented reptilian consciousnesses that exist. So don't just discount any one of these groups.
No, I'm actually quite fond of them myself.
Yeah. Oh, we weren't sure, by the way, you had worded it in a moment. Because,
No,
yes, there was war, there were
balance.
conflicts, but there were many brave and bold hearts connected to Source on all sides of many of these conflicts.
Yes, thank you.
Can you speak a little bit about the sacredness of water and other dimensions? Because we're only seeing and experiencing a couple different versions of that sacredness, and we know that they have different expressions in other dimensions and realities.
Yes, well, for example, for the Greys, water became something very, very important. Once all of the water on their planet had become deeply polluted, they had to use very advanced technology to purify it, and eventually even exhausted their source of water and had to look around for sources of water and move to new worlds to live in. So in some realities, yes, water is far more sparse and it's even more appreciated as something important and sacred in that way. Though, yes, so many life forms are dependent upon water, and so it's universally across the board a natural element, a building block of life, and something seen as sacred and holy.
Excellent. Can you talk a little bit about the realms which are based on alcohol?
The realms?
What are the civilizations, or we understand that there are areas in the universe which alcohol is common, although it's not doesn't have the same representation as it does on Earth.
Oh, yes, different worlds have different uses of their substances and relations to it. Is there a particular type of society you're curious about?
Any and all. I'm just open and excited about learning things that are new.
Yes, there are some worlds evolving like your own that have alcohol and other substances within them. And in general, when some cultures head down a more controlling and mechanical or machine-like world, they tend to focus on things like alcohol and stimulants as a way to keep people in a cycle of dullness and cheap pleasure, you could say, that makes it easy to manipulate and keep those control mechanisms in place. So the worlds that are most prone to alcohol in deeper ways than your world would have that in common.
Excellent. And that's something obviously that we can relate to in our world.
Yes.
Uh, we know that Earth has lots of representations of many different spacefaring races and energies. With the new beings and energies coming in, will there be new Earth creatures which are coming to live in and amongst us?
Not right away, but some will be displayed and shown. They won't necessarily be migrated as a species to your planet yet, though some might actually help counteract some of the disturbance to natural ecosystems humans have already established. And at a certain time, introduction might be possible.
That's wonderful. Will the, and I know that there are certain minerals and gemstones which have not shown themselves because they are part of our ascension, our open contact, or learning that there is more than what we know. Can you mention anything about those?
There's some that are hidden in particular places that humans have not looked yet, or hidden in layers of the earth, or places that have been difficult to access. But most certainly there are gems that have yet to be discovered. Types of gems, specifically, yeah, yes.
Can you mention anything about there's particular uses or vibratory frequencies which we will be able to tap into?
Oh, yes. There's one that has a color that is what you might call chartreuse, but is transparent. It's very rare and won't be found in many places. It could, in a way, be related to peridot, but have some different properties to it and mineral connections. This is a very powerful heart amplifier, and it can work as a catalyst for clarifying connection to specific extraterrestrial groups. There's also other sorts of rare combinations of agate that exist out there. These are combinations of gems that do exist but have not yet been fused. And there are at least a few of these that will eventually be discovered.
That is absolutely fabulous and blows my mind. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Christina?
Thank you. That was very exciting. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
And going back to animals, I believe that on some ships there are animals also living there in a kind of a natural environment. Would you like to share some information about what animals live on ships?
We do have our own sorts of pets sometimes. These companions are helpful to us in creating a sense of community, and also some of them can even be trained to do things like cleaning and participating in the maintenance of our world. You could consider them dog-like, but they have a connection to a type of mammal that doesn't really exist in your world, making their face appear generally a bit longer and almost, you could say, fox-like.
That sounds interesting.
Yes.
And they like to play also. So say if I wanted to visit, I could play.
They are, in a way, less energetic and playful than dogs in your world, though they would communicate and connect with you. That's certainly true.
Okay,
They're very
thank
lovely.
Do you have a favorite? I know that's a loaded question, but an expression of nature which appeals to you perhaps more than others?
We in general, or
Yeah,
me as a being working with the channel?
either or. I'm not shy, so how about both?
Well, yes, the Pleiadian Collective travels through many worlds, and we have our own home around the star Alcyon. We often spend much time in our ships as well. So there's many different terrains that we explore, and we appreciate all of them. This particular guide connected to the channel has been to a very wondrous forest landscape overlooking a large lake, almost the size of an ocean. And this, we would say, is our favorite place.
That's wonderful. I got a lot of really good energy from that answer. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Yes.
Is there any information that you have for any of us in particular or as our group?
if you have particular questions of a personal nature, we might be able to find some messages, but nothing jumps out for us.
Fair enough. Can you well, I know that we are all involved, at least energetically, in open contact. Can you touch base on any roles that I may have in open contact?
You're stirring much momentum in terms of letting people know about these realities and the possibility of, in that way, disclosing contact and bridging the world by allowing hearts to open to the information beings like ourselves have to share with your world. And this excitement and enthusiasm is crucial in the engine of ascension and open contact. So keep working with it. Certainly, all of you are part of the process. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't believe that anyone else is stepping up with another question. Looks, can you share anything about another life that has not been on Earth for me personally?
Yes, one moment. You're aware of your connection to Sirius, yes?
I'm aware that I have one, yes.
Yes, to the aquatic sort of beings who were amphibious in nature. These are very powerful healers and spiritual beings that have both civilization on land and within their waters. They also spend a great deal of time in sort of a hibernation where their body rests, but their soul goes on extensive astral travels. And this is the way that they communicate with worlds like yours and many others. Their astral body is free to move while the physical body rests. This is their own way of adapting to a multidimensional existence.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Luis?
Yeah, I do have some questions about my connections to different races of ETs and some of the vehicles that I have seen that have materialized to some degree for me. I guess in the image of what I could accept. I'd like to know a little bit more about the nature of the contacts and races that I have experienced. Anything that you could add in that.
You mean the ships that you have seen?
The ships that I have seen.
Yes. You're aware they are Sasani, yes?
No, I actually wasn't aware that there were Sasani. I have seen them for some time in my life. I would
Yes.
say dating back to 20 some years at least.
Some of them were Sasani, others were Pleiadian ships.
Pleiadian, okay. Thank you.
Do you have, or can you disclose what energies or threads of, I guess, expression that you have had that extend through your dimensional experience?
The other incarnations that I've been aware of?
Yeah, and for instance, I know on Earth I've been an amanuensis in many different
Yeah.
expressions and timelines.
Yes. We are also aware of other connections to extraterrestrial realms like Sirius, where we have counterparts. Also in Arcturus, we have counterparts. In Andromeda, we have counterparts. And in the Yael and Sasani, we have counterparts, just as much as in Vega. we do have some counterparts as well. We have been able to track and connect with many of these in our own cosmology and our memory throughout our lifetimes. So there is a deep soul weaving of all of these groups, you could say, reincarnationally. And many of you, especially those who are drawn to this work, have incarnations in most of these realms.
That is fantastic, especially like the phrase of deep soul weaving. That just hit me hard. Thank you so much. Carla?
I have seen some of the stones that have been brought here that no one here on Earth has yet been able to put a name on it. I have an idea of where this stone came from. And what I was told was, without getting into the story of how I connected with the stone, was that it came from an Arcturian fissure. Is this something you would know about?
We don't have our own connection to this, though we're certain that this is coming to you for a good reason, and that the fissure represents the stone's connection to the water element and the deep sea, and can activate that kind of deep oceanic feeling.
Thank you very much for that. That was an affirmation. I didn't go into the whole story about that, but I really appreciate that. I also saw, I've seen several of the beings that are here on Earth that are beginning to show themselves. And this particular one, I was hiking in a forest in Kentucky, and this was in the middle of the night. It was dark. All we had was little bitty lights, just enough to see the path. And most of the time, if the moon's out, I don't use anything. But I literally had turned around and bumped into them. They were about 3 feet in height. They looked similar to what a snail would look like without a shell. It was upright like the shell would be, even though there was no shell there. I greeted them and asked them what they were doing. And one of the things that they told me were they were going along the earth and picking up stagnant energies. Is this something you might be able to talk about?
Yes, there are beings that are connected to the karmic purification of your planet and the evolution of souls. All souls play their part in a different way. Some work with humans to evolve to higher frequencies, and others work to clear dense energies from spaces so that there doesn't come to be too much of a dense charge. And these are those sorts of beings. Or among them, there are many other sorts of beings who play a similar role.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yes.
I'm interested in the beings that come from the star system of Aldebaran. Can you give me any information on them?
This is an evolving species that is similarly at a place in evolution that humanity is at, but perhaps a little bit further along. They are still oscillating between which path of evolution they take. And for that reason, there is a bit of turbulence in their world as they are beginning to incorporate the space technology travels, but having their own disputes about the ethics around it.
So technologically, they're at a similar state as we are.
From a zoomed out perspective, yes, but from our perspective, similar includes a 500-year gap. So take it or leave it.
I see. Another star system that intrigues me is, what is the status of Betelgeuse?
There is some karmic load here connected to the Orion system. There were many ancient civilizations here, some of which went down a very dark path, even involving the imprisonment of many groups of people and mass slavery in their world. There were some completely destroyed civilizations on these planets, and even a destroyed planet. And so the karmic load connected to this star system can sometimes be heavy, but it also has an alchemical potency in sometimes reminding you that it is possible to move through very heavy karmic loads and come through the other side.
So metaphorically, the fact that it has dimmed itself from our perspective quite a bit is an expression of where we perhaps are moving. In other words, we're dissolving, although it doesn't appear that way at times. Our karmic burdens.
Yes, humanity is healing many karmic burdens, and remember, they are not coming just from Earth alone. They come from many karmic lineages.
Yes, I feel that. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about your connection to the Sasquatch energy as we know it?
Well, we would say that you are more connected to Sasquatch than we genetically, though we have been in contact with Sasquatch at times, as they do operate on a higher frequency plane. And they are, in a way, involved with the open contact agreements, as there's potential, if the open contact portal does proceed and you do continue on one of those timelines, for the Sasquatch to become part of Earth's, this version of Earth again in a physicalized way.
Yep.
That is excellent. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
Dave, your question?
Okay, here we are.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking my question. I was wondering, in the lines of the Sasquatch question, can you tell us if the Sasquatch DNA has any relevance in the open contact and continuation of the human evolution?
It's not necessary for humans to, again, cross their DNA with Sasquatch. So mostly that will not happen, and humanity will find its own path forward.
I see. Thank you.
Can I, well, not really ask a question, more convey an appreciation of understanding the essence of the question and answering it more fully than I usually experience. So just my appreciation for being
Oh,
here and giving me being here and being who you are, really. Thank you.
oh yes, our great thanks to you. We appreciate that. And we are glad to be able to help open the doors, you could say.
Your mention of a portal brought up another question for me, and thank you for that impetus. Um, Several different entities have described me as having or being a portal to allow other entities access into our denser realm. Can you provide any information on that?
Which types of beings?
The Well, one was the ancestor grandmothers. Another one was an entity called Chris, Kris, which is channeled by Serge Granbois. So I'm not really certain of the type of beings. It just came through during channeling sessions. Another was Bex from Andromeda.
Yes, there's many different beings that you can come to meet if that is your own path. You have opened yourself to this multidimensional reality, so you will be continuously meeting these beings as long as you keep allowing your frequency to reach and extend to these places. Not all of them come to you for the same reasons. Some of them are curious about your world and wish to collaborate. Some come with specific information for you, and some come with information that they want to share with other people in your world. Some simply want to be seen and witnessed from your perspective.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Heidi?
Hello. Thank you for being here and taking my question
Yes,
in
absolutely.
this moment. I wanted to ask, I was curious about the Orion energy, and because I at one time felt connected to the Orion Nebula. And if I heard correctly before, we were talking about karma connected to the Orions and making amends. And I'm wondering if I have any connection to that, or kind of what that energy is at this time, if it pertains to me.
Yes, there are certain karmic agreements that you are working out. Already in your life, you have overcome many of the karmic challenges from the Orion lifetimes as you've stepped into your own true path and been able to devote your own heart into the calling of your soul. There are still some agreements you have yet to revoke that would involve more completely surrendering and letting go of the things that might hold you back from fully committing to your own soul path. Just as much, there are some agreements that connect with having clear boundaries and relationships and allowing your heart to be open without letting other people pull you off your path. And this is the remaining work that connects actually more to certain timelines in the Pleiadian evolution than Orion, but some aspects of this are having their roots in Orion.
And are these individuals that I'm working with, are they all embodied, incarnated at this time, or are some of them possibly working with me maybe from another realm?
They're not incarnated at the same time, but they still connect to you in the here and now. And in that way, there's a life and a living presence to all of the spirits that connect with you. Yes. just because they are not in the body does not mean they are not part of consciousness and life. So can know them in that way. Some of them come from a distant past, and some come from a future time.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have, I wish I had more questions to learn more. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hello again. It was mentioned earlier that some of the ships that were seen in our sky were Pleiadian.
Yes.
But there are so many different habitated planets and nations in the Pleiades, right? So out of curiosity, I wanted to ask how many different Pleiadian nations are circulating Earth at this time?
Well, there are 2 planets that are inhabited by the same group of beings. There is a certain genetic diversity among that larger group of beings that you would consider the modern Pleiadians. But yes, there has been many different civilizations on different planets through the evolution of the group of the what you now know as the Pleiadians who are interacting with you. The planets, again, are around the stars Alcyon and Maya.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I believe that is all that we have for right now. And thank you so much for bringing your energy and your wisdom and the absolutely phenomenal depth of answers to our questions and spending your time with us in our linear time. It has been an absolute wonder, and I am in awe at everything that happened tonight. Much
We
love to you and yours.
for allowing this connection to take place and for inviting us into your world. It has been as well a pleasure and a blessing for us. And so we will again extend our gratitude to you and wish you a fantastic rest of your evening then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Blew
Cool.
us away, Dante.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the depth and the energy which came through was just it just shook us.
Mm.
And if and although the eyes were closed, you should see the smiles and the jaw drops that came out of that.
Oh,
And
wow.
anything that you could share from your experience during this would be most helpful.
I mean, for me, when I go into the channeling, it's just sort of like the words come out of my mouth and I'm not fully thinking about the things before I say them. And before I know it, it's all kind of there. So it's just like it's just like a high energy state. It's like positive, a feeling of love flowing. But yeah, I mean, yeah, because people talk about a lot of these other dimensional things, I get some different visions of what those beings before the words come out of my mouth, but a lot of it kind of fades after the question's over.
Yeah. And I think in this day and age, as Bashar explained, that's a really common experience to have conscious channeling where
Yeah,
we're aware of what comes out, but then it fades, soon afterwards.
totally.
Yeah, so I have to go back and rewatch the videos if I choose to figure out, what I can glean from those particular sessions.
Exactly. I often do that as well. And that's kind of the basic. I mean, I've been doing that a lot with channelings that I've done over the past 7 years, really. And I'm compiling that into the next book that will be out there. But it's very interesting that, like, when I look back at it, it looks familiar, but I never would have remembered anything if I hadn't gone and looked at it.
Yeah, and how do you choose do you listen? I know it's time consuming to listen to them all, especially with the breadth and length of time that you've been doing this. How do you choose which ones?
Some of them by name, and I also saw that like sometimes if they got a lot more of a response, that was a good sign for me. But then I did have to keep clicking and listening to find all of them because after the ones that initially came to me, I knew there was some more hiding, and I found them.
Excellent. So you just let it flow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But that's it. I already have one existing channel book. If people have a lot of these galactic type questions, I think that's a great one. The Guidebook to Living Love on Earth really goes into depth of the galactic history, the connection to realms like Sirius and Arcturus, and how it translates to phenomena in our world, and much more.
Excellent. I'm going to have to check that one out. And thank you very much. It's for bringing that to us. So obviously we manifested this as well because all of this information is relevant to us because we heard it. We experienced it. And it was definitely more than just an auditory thing. And that is something that's always a blessing for me. And I'm sure everyone else. Okay, if we don't have anybody else have anything other than sincere appreciation and
Ray,
gratitude.
you have the websites and all of that you're going to post for him, for Dante?
Yes, I am. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and throw that into the chat right now so everybody can copy it. And then I will also add the book information. There you go. And I know you're all silently telling me that you're welcome.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, so we want to thank you sincerely.
Dante, it's been phenomenal to meet you and phenomenal to hear the energies that come through you.
Yeah. Great to meet you. Well, great to hear many of you. I didn't really see you, but maybe now I will in the next part.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and wrap this session. We're going to take a 4 or a 5 minute break, if that's okay with everybody. And then we'll come back in, and the beings of light have some information that they wish to give. And then we'll see what the Usal have to say. And that's always an experience. So we'll be right back.